Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Film Box Podcast, the greatest movie podcast and the spookiest movie podcast on the face of planet Earth. I'm your host, Aaron Souza, and I'm joined today by treasure hunters and great-looking men. It's Connor and Sam. How you guys doing today?
Thank you.
Howdy.
Thank you for buttering my biscuits.
You need a little boost today? Well, you got it. So today we're continuing our spooky creature features month, which is what I'm naming this month officially. And we've watched The Mummy, the 1999 Mummy for starring one Brendan Fraser. And we're going to talk about it. But before we do that,
Bury the lead there.
we're going to Hey, did you guess? We're going to talk about it. Guess what?
Are we?
No. We're just going to mention it and then we're never going to speak of it again.
We're not going to do jack shit with it.
We're actually, when we get to that part of the podcast, we're all just going to stare intensely into our cameras and do nothing for a half hour.
We're just gonna
Yes, like
fart
that.
for an hour and a half.
Just great audio medium that we've got going this morning already. So no, we are going to talk about it, but before we do all that, we got to talk about what we've been watching lately, what we got to drink, and also we've got a little game that I've prepared for us. But let's talk about what we've been watching. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll go. Because I've only seen 2 movies.
All right.
I first scroll on Netflix and I saw how bad Uglies was received. So I wanted to see how bad it was for myself. And can I just say that could we stop casting 30-year-olds to play teenagers?
No.
Yep. It is a tale as old as time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Listen, if we stop doing that, like half of Hollywood just loses their job.
It's true.
And then I watched The Mummy. Actually finished up this morning. So
There we go.
and I'm drinking some good old coffee.
Ew.
It's better than just drinking milk.
There's nothing
Like
wrong
almond
with straight milk. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I would do that over coffee any day of the week and twice on Thursdays.
Coffee's
why
normal,
Thursdays?
though.
Coffee sucks.
I
Coffee's
don't
great.
like coffee, but it's 11 for us. It's 8 for you. Sam?
9.
9? Yeah, perfectly normal.
Yes.
Well, I'm starting to stray away from the energy drinks, and in order to get my caffeine in, I'd rather go to coffee than
Bean
drink my
juice.
energy drinks.
Hot bean juice. Do you do hot or cold? Like iced coffee?
Hot. You gotta do hot.
Ah.
You a
Ah.
K-cup guy or a...
Yeah.
Ah.
I got my routine in the morning. You know, I wake up, put my K cup in, and get ready for the gym, and then make my coffee.
Do you use coffee as a pre-workout?
No.
Okay.
So what I do is I make the coffee, put it in my mug. While I'm at the gym, it kind of cools down a little bit,
Okay.
and then it's perfect to drink as soon as I'm out of the gym, ready at work. So
And then after all of that, you ascend into heaven.
oh, you should have seen me earlier.
It was literally like I literally Sam joined the Discord call and I couldn't see him. All I saw was bright like rays of light across his face.
Sam is always just in like Saturn every time.
Yeah.
I'm on Europa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Connor? What have you been watching lately?
Yeah, so last week was a quiet week. This was not the same. We can count as we go. It's been a busy week. So I think the last thing I watched was Dracula for last week. So did The Wolfman, 1941. Awesome. I watched the 1933 Invisible Man. That's probably my favorite of the classics. He's just like a little shit, and it's so funny. I watched Possessor again. Great body horror movie. Very psychological. A nice Cronenberg piece. I think that's Brandon though, not David. Um, watched the new Salem's Lot movie. Uh, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
People keep trying to do Stephen King adaptations. Unless your name is Mike Flanagan, they most of the time do not work.
Or Stanley Kubrick, apparently.
Yeah. Watched Bride of Frankenstein, one of the best sequels ever made. Very
Wow.
good.
Highly touted.
Insanely good.
I praise.
And that was so I broke up my 31 Days of Horror into segments. So that first segment was like the classic Universal monsters.
Yeah.
So that wrapped that one up. Then started with my psychological horror segment. Started off with Coherence, little sci-fi mind bender. Then I broke the horror streak. I watched the Billie Eilish documentary. The
Of
world's a little
course.
blurry, but I did go see her past weekend. She was awesome with my girlfriend Erin. She looked at us in the eye, so we are best friends. I do have picture proof of it too. So
that's
anyone saying otherwise is a liar.
The defining factor, really, of friendship is do you make eye contact, and then there it is.
Yeah, she wanted us there.
Yeah.
It's horror adjacent. I mean, she's she's
is it
she's
though?
an interesting person. She's an interesting person. No. Watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer from Yorgos. That was pretty good. Really weird dialogue though. There's a whole scene of Colin Farrell talking about how he like jerked his brother off to his son.
Wait, what?
Weird.
Yeah. Make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Then watch the Black Coat's Daughter. Little Oz Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. Finally got around to seeing Strange Darling. That movie was awesome. Reviews out. Wish I saw it in theaters. Cinemark, you have a new enemy in me.
You got an enemy in me. Not to be confused with the classic song, You've Got an Enema in Me, which is a totally different vibe.
What?
I don't know, man.
Why did your mind go to enemas?
Because I said enemy and it sounded like it.
I figured you do like an enemy, like it's in fucking.
Oh, that
Nemo,
would be a good
not
one too.
Enema.
Yeah. Hey, man, my mind works in strange ways.
Alrighty.
Moving on.
Then I watched Session 9. Sorry, it was cool. Not much more to say about that. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. I watched Saint Maud. That movie's awesome too. I would definitely recommend that to anyone. Great debut for Rose Glass. Then I watched Terrifier.
Dude, how many fucking movies have you seen? Holy shit!
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
My God.
Work's been really slow, so I've had like nothing to do. I watched Terrifier because I'm gonna go see Terrifier 3 maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thank you. I've heard it's awesome, awesomely disgusting.
I heard. What did they say? It was when it showed in the UK, people were like vomiting and like leaving the theater or something like that.
When they have nuns like protesting outside certain theaters, you know it's gonna be a good movie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah. I watched Hold Your Breath, the Sarah Paulson like Dust Bowl horror movie on Hulu. Kind of boring. Couldn't get into it. Watched Mr. Crockett, another Hulu horror. Almost done. That was more fun. And this morning I watched The Mummy.
No fucking wonder you said you didn't know how many you watched. That was like 25 movies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Jesus.
Yeah, we had a good stretch there.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking my energy.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I did not see that nearly that many movies. I saw 5. I was sick all week this week, so I had a couple days off or like half days that I was able to watch some stuff, but obviously not as many as Connor. But I saw for the first time I saw How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which was a lot of fun. I really liked it. And then sticking on the McConaughey train, I watched or sorry, not McConaughey. Glenn Powell's in it, but he reminds me of McConaughey. Anyways,
he does look like McConaughey in that movie.
He acts in I watched Everybody Wants Some, and in that movie, it is like shades of McConaughey in that movie. He's awesome. So I really like that movie. Rewatched La La Land because I was bored. Watched The Apprentice, the Trump film, and it was something. And I'm still processing my feelings about it. Well made, well acted. Not sure if it needs to exist at all. And then I watched The Mummy. And I am drinking water today. And I also want to point out too, we also on Thursday we did a little stream, a little Twitch stream to celebrate horror movie month. We're gonna be doing a couple streams throughout this month, and hopefully maybe going forward a little bit more frequently. We streamed Dead by Daylight, and got to play against Ghostface for a majority of the time.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Had some scares.
Yep. There's a couple good
spooky.
Yes. You can see the VOD on my Twitch channel, Filmbox Aaron, or on our YouTube channel. The full VOD is just up on our YouTube channel, so you can see that there as well. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. So, yeah, no, be on the lookout. I think the next one we're going to be doing this upcoming week is going to be themed around the Escape the Backrooms games, it's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a hoot. All right, are you guys ready for a game?
Sure.
All right, I have a special guest. I got to go grab the special guest. So just like vamp for like a minute. I'll be right back. Gotta go grab the special guest.
What could this possibly be?
It's either one of his cats or M.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't. Really
I don't know what he would do with his cats.
We should just talk shit about him while he's gone.
Yeah. Because when he re-listens to this, he's gonna be like, "All right, well."
He's like, "Oh man." No, Aaron's cool. Great co-host.
Well, I mean, I guess if he gets his cats, it kind of goes with the theme of the Mummy.
It does go with the theme. Like, maybe we should all grab our cats.
We should grab all our cats.
But no, when me and Aaron were waiting for you on Thursday night, my cat jumped on my back and like dug its claws in, trying to get my attention. I was seeing his fucking Dracula costume.
Hello, everybody.
Wrong movie.
Hello, I am Count Dramacula.
Aaron, are you video recording this?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
Okay,
hello. Good. I'm the greatest game show host that is also a vampire.
Count Dipshit's back.
No, it's Count Dramacula. Get it? It's a play on the word drama and Dracula.
Dipshit.
And yes, before you say anything, Dracula always has mouse ears. That is canon. And I know you're asking what kind of weapon a Dracula carries. It is a sickle. The most practical of all the weapons.
Where'd you get all this shit?
This is my own. I am Count Dramacula. I definitely did not go to Party City this morning.
Oh, you bought it?
Oh no, my tooth is falling out.
Sam left. Sam.
Anyways, are you guys ready to play a game of
Yes, we
poorly
are.
described movie plots? Ooh.
All right.
All right, round one. A child gets kidnapped. The kidnappers regret this so much that the entire rest of the movie is spent getting her back home.
I didn't understand a word of that.
I shall read it again. A child gets kidnapped. The kidnappers regret this so much that the entire rest of the movie is spent getting her back home. What movie is that?
Child gets kidnapped. Are we doing one guess and lock in, or are we doing just guess until we get it?
I think one guess and lock in. I'm going to track points. It is not a game show if I do not track the points. What are you thinking right now? Tell me.
A child gets kidnapped? Oh.
Do you have your answers?
Is it Monsters, Inc.?
Is that your answer that you are locking in?
That's my answer, yeah.
Okay. Connor, I need an answer.
Man, I don't have anything because my brain immediately went to like Wizard of Oz, but she didn't get kidnapped.
Yes. That is not a feature of that movie.
Man, I don't know.
I'm going to need an answer.
Man, shut up. Shit. I don't know. I'll take a goose egg on this one.
Okay, well, Sam, you are correct. The answer is Monsters, Inc. Very nice work.
I didn't want to also say Monsters Inc. I didn't want to steal Sam's thunder.
Number 2.
What the?
Man gets frozen for decades only for him to wake up to find he has to fight the same evil from before he was frozen.
Oh,
my teeth are coming out.
That's gotta be Austin Powers.
Are you locking in your guess?
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
Man gets frozen for decades only for him to wake up to find he has to fight the same evil from before he was frozen.
So my mind instantly went to Austin Powers because he was frozen.
Yes.
And
that would be a logical conclusion.
But now that I'm thinking about it, technically Captain America was frozen.
Oh, that is also a good answer.
And he's also facing Hydra.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'll. You know what? I'm gonna go for Austin Powers.
Okay.
I will pick Captain America.
Okay, the answer is Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Yeah, that's
very nice.
Because you emphasized evil.
Yes, evil. Okay, next question. Man gets real mad at a lot of people, but especially a photographer. Lies on floor for 8 hours, then goes home. This is a good one. Is a juicy one.
Who are you and what did you do with our host?
I don't know. He just told me to come here. I don't even know where he went. He's gone.
Man, I don't know.
This one, I have no
Do you
idea
need me to read the question again?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Man gets real mad at a lot of people, but especially a photographer, lies on floor for 8 hours, then goes home.
I don't know, man. Insidious.
I don't mind that guess.
Not getting it.
You should get it, Connor. You should. This one is for you.
I just guessed, so clearly I'm not getting it.
Sam, what is your guess?
I don't know. The Exorcist?
All right. Well, no, those were wrong. It was Saw.
What?
Saw. The guy lies on the floor for 8 hours. And then he went home.
Man,
Okay.
Photographer, though.
An overweight loner with poor hygiene and social skills goes on a quest to get rid of minorities invading his homeland. This is a good one.
For a second, I was like Gulliver's Travels.
My mind went to Gran Torino.
I thought you said Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, the classic racing game and movie.
No, Gran Torino, but he's not fat.
I shall read it again. An overweight loner with poor hygiene and social skills goes on a quest to get rid of the minorities invading his homeland.
The Mario?
That is a good guess. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
Well, that's a good one.
Right. Sam, what is your guess?
I'm gonna guess Spirited Away.
Oh, very good guess. No, the answer was Shrek.
I'll do it.
All right, I've got one more for you. Even though I will make this one for all the marbles, as you say. Man tries to buy a sculpture with his dad's old stuff, but fails when his sister is caught cross-dressing. This one's very hard.
Wait, say that again?
Man tries to buy a sculpture with his dad's old stuff, but fails when his sister is caught cross-dressing.
Man tries to... Oh, gosh.
This one is hard, but if you get it, you win.
What? I have no idea what this could be. Oh, man.
Give me a guess, and I shall tell you if you are wrong or right.
National Treasure 2.
That is not correct, but a good guess.
The...
Man tries to buy a sculpture with his dad's old stuff, but fails when his sister is caught cross-dressing. It's a very famous movie, sci-fi.
Oh, hold on. Oh, sci-fi.
Sci-fi movie.
Oh.
I shall give you another guess, Connor.
Thank you.
Cross with his dad's old stuff. Oh, I know it.
Oh, Sam has got it. Connor, do you have it?
No.
No, he does not. Do you want to wager another guess?
What Sam guesses.
Sam, what is your guess?
It's Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that is correct. Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Luke tries to buy Han Solo the sculpture with his dad's old stuff being C-3PO and R2-D2. But he fails when his sister dresses as a man, a bounty hunter man. Oh, that was the game. Sam won.
Good game, Sam.
Thank you.
I will be back later. Not this episode, but there might be more occurrences of Count Dracula.
Count
We shall see.
dipshit.
No, no, no.
Count dumbass.
And I shall away.
All right, now that he has his headset off, what a dumbass.
What
What the
hell was
fuck?
that?
Why put the chompers in when you're about to do so much speaking?
I know, right?
Couldn't hear anything he said.
Oh man. Hey, did you guys see Count Dracula? Pretty
Yeah,
cool
I
guy,
have no
right?
idea what you're talking about.
Oh
Yeah,
damn.
who's that?
Because
Must have missed
his
him.
cameras are full of mirrors, and vampires don't show up in mirrors.
Oh wow. I don't know.
I
He
heard
left.
him.
He left this. I don't know what he wants to do with that. But, anyways, how was the game? Was it a good game? Who won?
That was a very
Count
shitty game.
Dracula.
Oh,
Count dipshit one.
Count Dracula.
No, Count dipshit.
No, no, he doesn't like that when you call him that.
That's
like,
what he
hey, I
told
heard
us to call him.
Oh man! All right, are you guys ready to talk about The Mummy?
Sure.
All right, let's get into it. I don't have a stinger for it or anything, but The Mummy is a 1999 American action adventure film written and directed by Steven Sommers, starring Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, John Hannah, and Arnold the Vosloo. As a remake of the 1932 film of the same name. So, just a little bit of details here. Steven Sommers, the director, best known for big budget action films in that kind of like 2000s era. The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, Van Helsing, also did Van Helsing. G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra. So he's done some decent stuff. He also directed the 1994 live-action Jungle Book movie, and he was the writer for The Scorpion King. Produced by James Jack and Sean Daniel. They have worked together on quite a number of films, producing them, including Raising Arizona, Dazed and Confused, Tombstone, Mallrats, obviously The Mummy, but they also really went down the Mummy train with they produced The Mummy Returns, The Scorpion King, and then starting in 2008, they produced The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, The Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior, The Scorpion King 3, Battle for Redemption, The Scorpion King 4, Quest for Power, and The Scorpion King, Book of Souls.
Wait, there's that many?
They 4 of them are direct to video.
I was gonna say the Scorpion King must have been a very successful franchise, huh?
No.
No.
Their favorite actor, right?
What? Not after the first one. Because after the first one, it then stars Michael Copon.
Who?
Yep. Exactly. This film was also cinematography by Adrian Biddle, who is most known for... He's worked on quite a number of films, including Aliens, The Princess Bride, Willow, and he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Cinematography for Thelma and Louise in 1991. And then also The Mummy and 101 Dalmatians, the 1996 live action. And then the Sylvester Stallone starring Judge Dredd. And then composed by Jerry Goldsmith, one of the most famous composers in Hollywood. Nominated for 18 Academy Awards. He won one for The Omen. He composed the scores for 5 films in the Star Trek franchise and 3 in the Rambo franchise, as well as the 1968 Planet of the Apes, Patton, Chinatown, The Omen, Alien, Poltergeist, Gremlins, Hoosiers, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, Air Force One, LA Confidential, Mulan, and The Mummy. Before he passed away in 2004. So very, very prolific. This movie was released May 7th, 1999 by Universal Pictures with a runtime of 125 minutes It had a budget of $80 million. Boys, can you guess how much money it made at the box office?
I should look this up.
300.
You should not look it up. You should not
Fun
look
fact,
this up.
came out one day before my birth.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Look at that.
So my mom probably watched The Mummy and was like, "Oh boy, I can't wait for my son to see this."
I can't wait to show my kid this movie.
Just gotta pump him out real quick.
Anyways, you said 300 million. Sam, what is your guess?
350.
It made $417.4 million. But that's the technical side of it. Sam, what did people think of this movie?
Aaron, oh.
Connor.
All right, yeah. Count.
Where's Count? I need him. I'm here. Don't worry. It was very hard for him to talk through those teeth.
Yeah, we could tell.
It's okay.
All right, so The Mummy 1999 on Rotten Tomatoes has a 62% for the tomato meter. The audience gave it a 75%.
Ooh.
So, a little bit higher.
Nice.
And then on our good old friends on Google reviews, 4.7 out of 5.
4.7. So masterpiece.
I think that,
That's hilarious.
And then I'll read a 5-star review that I found. This one says, best mummy movie ever made in the matter of plot, storytelling, characters, perfect cast, acting, scenery, soundtrack, special effects, and overall entertainment. For a 1999 film, it left its mark on the Wall of Fame, no doubt. It didn't need today's technology to be great, because it's greater than anything we could create today. Since its release, it became an addiction of mine. I'm never getting enough from it. It took ancient Egypt to another level in terms of makeup, props, cloth, background, and architecture, all shown and presented in amazing camera angles, unforgettable shots, and perfect timings in collaboration with the actors. This movie deserves 100 golden stars when it comes to ratings. A must-watch.
All right. 100 gold stars.
Yes.
I don't think Letterboxd supports that, but
we can
Yeah.
try.
A couple 1-star reviews. A couple of them were actually like sincere, but a couple of them I think were memes.
Yep.
So this one's I'll read a few. This one says, a pretty pedestrian movie, weak storyline, and even weaker acting, insanely forgettable, at least hoping so. So bad it's comical, even though there's a distinct lack of actual humor. This one says, in all caps, the Mummy is so scary for me because when the mummy kills people, they become bones, and it's scary how they get eaten by the bugs. So scary. I give 1 star.
guys, don't you just hate it when like your horror movie has horror in it?
Yeah, right. When something's actually meant to be scary, and it is.
When your scary movie scares you, isn't that just the worst?
It's so stupid.
Not to derail that, but I like I think it's Hulu has a section under like Halloween where it's like no scares Halloween movies.
What is that, like Hocus Pocus and that's it?
Pretty much. It's like Medea Family Halloween and
Oh, good lord.
like Halloween Town.
Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, there you go.
That's Apple TV exclusive.
This one says a 1 star. I rated this a 1 star because a girl got wrapped in something and then she became a mummy.
Okay.
This one says,
oh, that was it. All right, cool.
Yeah. This one
1
says,
star because mummy.
I hate the mummy. Yuck. Wrapped in toilet paper. That's it.
Man, people are really
This one
airing out
said-
their grievances.
This one says, I ate sand and died. Real, by the way.
True story.
But there's a couple
Oh,
other
man.
longer ones that are actually like, they kind of try to back their flames up, but there's a bunch of like memes and stuff. So
That's all right. The memes are funny. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to go through this movie on our own. Connor, you want to bring us through The Mummy?
Yes, I can. I forgot you don't have anything to cue me in.
No, I don't. It is all you, man.
Thank you, Aaron. Count dipshit.
Yep.
You know what? And I'm just gonna preface this now. This is not gonna be an easy read for me, so just
Oh God.
bear with me.
Okay.
A lot of these words I'm not gonna get right. And
Connor
honestly,
doesn't do words that well. No.
the brain to mouth transfer is not the best. And especially now that we got to get the eyes involved, I got 4 of them. Eyes to brain to mouth.
Oh my God.
This is gonna be a struggle, so I might just mute you guys.
Okay.
All right. In Thebes,
Thebes.
Egypt.
It's Thebes. the first thing.
All right, Aaron's muted. You're blocked. You're banned. In Thebes, Egypt, 1290 BC, the high priest Imhotep has an affair with Ankhsunamun, the mistress and future bride of Pharaoh Seti. They kill the pharaoh after he discovers the relationship. Imhotep flees while Ankhsunamun kills herself. Believing he can resurrect her, Imhotep and his priests steal her corpse and travel to Hamunaptra, the city of the dead. The resurrection ritual is stopped by the pharaoh's bodyguards, the Magi. Imhotep's priests are mummified alive, while Imhotep himself is tortured, cursed, and buried alive with flesh-eating scarabs at the feet of a statue of the god Anubis. The Magi are sworn to prevent Imhotep's return.
Oh, you got through it. That was the toughest one.
I will say, I did slam my head into my keyboard. I'm shocked. Everything is still up and running.
Nice. Oh man. Yeah, I like this intro.
I love this opening.
Yeah.
This opening
It's so cool.
It slaps. It's cool because it's like it just dives right into like historical, like, yeah, Egypt. Yeah, man, this is what this movie's about. If you don't like it, get out. I love it.
Well, especially too, it's like coming off like Dracula too. Both these movies right off the bat, it's like we're setting the vibe.
Yeah,
perfectly.
Yep, this is what this movie is, and it works. And two, I like too that it doesn't like try to explain the mystery like through dialogue. Like it's if it started in present day, and they were like trying to explain everything that went on. I love that they were just like, all right, we're just gonna show it. Just this is what happened, and then we cut to present day.
Yeah, like we don't need to see like Evelyn in the library or like all the main crew gathered around and like like the Brotherhood telling them like, okay, here's the backstory of Imhotep. Like we can see it. We can see that they had an affair with the pharaoh's wife and here are the consequences of it.
Yeah. No, it works for sure. Well, but I gotta say, man, you can tell that this movie was made in the late '90s because that CGI, woo,
it's not great.
It is working. Yikes! That was I literally wrote down. I was like, man, I hope they don't rely too much on that in this because I'd never seen this before. This is my first watch of The Mummy, so I was like, yes. So I was like, man, I really hope that they don't rely on this CGI all that much. Spoiler alert, it's a lot at the end.
Well, yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just like it's also very brutal too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's yeah, it's like, yeah, this man's getting tortured. That's what it is.
Well, especially because like it has to be a tortured soul. Like you can't just you can't just bury him alive. Like,
Yeah, you have
he's got
to.
to have some sort of vengeance.
Yeah. Nope. No, it was a cool opening. I really liked it.
Mhm.
Set the vibe perfectly. Uh, Want to move to the next section?
Sure.
All right.
In 1926 AD, Cairo, Jonathan Carnahan presents his sister Evelyn, a librarian, an aspiring Egyptologist, working for a museum curator, Dr. Terrence Bay, with an intricate box and map that lead to Hamunaptra. Jonathan reveals that he stole the box from an American adventurer and treasure hunter, Rick O'Connell, who discovered the city while in the French Foreign Legion 3 years earlier. Evelyn and Jonathan find Rick in a local prison and make a deal with him to lead them to the city, bribing prison warden Gad Hassan to free him.
Um, the jump to modern day is sick. I love that they
Yeah.
do a match cut with the statue of Anubis.
Mm-hmm.
That was sick. I was so for it. And
Mm-hmm.
again, even though this movie does use a fair amount of CGI, um, they did like a completely practical opening big battle, which was dope as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say though, for as cool as Rick O'Connell is as a character, I wish they gave him a much cooler introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Like,
see. Yeah, I can see that.
yes, he obviously he stands out from everyone else in like uniform, and he kind of just looks like he kind of is like a pirate amongst these like soldiers. Like, he stands out. He's like a swashbuckler type.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and he ends up leading this little army. But like, give him something cooler to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Yeah.
something to stand out.
I mean, inevitably, when you're doing like treasure hunting type movies, you're going to be compared to things like Indiana Jones and like
Mhm.
all three of the original Indiana Jones movies absolutely nail the intro to Indy.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Especially the third one with the match cut from with the hat
the
from him as a
young,
child to
the
him.
young
Yeah,
Indy's
Oh, that
old.
was that's such a
so
great.
good. So I totally get your point of like, yeah, you need a better like here's the hero kind of thing.
Hmm. And I get that you don't want to, because in my head I was thinking, oh, like, you're dealing with Egypt, you're dealing with like pyramids and tombs. You could do something where like you have him like in like a pyramid, and like just something's happening that's a bit more like personal to him and a bit more exciting. But then I was thinking, that's like exactly like Indiana Jones zone. You
Yeah,
can't do that
yeah,
because
you
this
can't
movie
copy it.
is kind of like Indiana Jones, but you just drop him in like more of a horror setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean it yeah, I agree with that. Although I will say too, I appreciate at the same time how much they just drop us into like, here's this guy.
Hmm.
You don't know jack shit about him, but here he is, and he's gonna do some cool action right now. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. They don't try to over explain it too much
Hmm.
either.
And I will say too, and maybe it'll come in a lot more towards the middle of the movie and maybe more towards the end. I will say I like that they didn't make him like an Indiana Jones stand-in. If
No,
anything,
yeah.
he's more like a Han Solo type.
Yeah, for sure. He's got his own personality which stands out
Hmm.
for sure. Um I like though so getting away from that opening fight, we then get to the library with Evelyn and you know
This
all
is a
that.
good character introduction.
Yes. It works
Mm.
for her. You get to know everything that you need to know about this character with so little dialogue, so
The
little
whimsical music in the background.
right. Yeah, there's so little like background build up to it, but you get okay, this person really loves Egyptology. This person really likes working. They're a bit of a klutz. But they've got this real passion and all this kind of stuff. You learn so much just from the actions and
Mm.
the knowledge that the character holds. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's like cute little like introduction as she's like just destroying this library by accident.
Yeah.
Um, and then that
Whoa!
yeah, it very much feels like straight from like Disney, one of those animated movies.
Yeah. It's good though. It works.
Yeah.
When you
I
do
know
it
that means a
right.
lot to us as former librarians too.
Ah, yes. Yes, always love some library representation.
Oh yeah, just imagine working at Western New England Library and just all the aisles just
I'd
fell.
cry. I would cry. Honestly.
I'd
That
cry.
would be weeks of work. It would be
But
awful.
sorry guys, I'm actually dropping out of school.
Yeah, sorry, I am transferring immediately. And I'm moving across the country. You can
Alright.
never find me again. Oh man. Um but also the movie wastes no time getting the main characters together.
Mm-hmm.
Like within the first 10 minutes you've got of like them being introduced, you've got um introduction to Brendan Fraser, introduction to Evelyn, introduction to Jonathan Carnahan, um, and then all of three of them are together like right away, and I love that too. The theme with this movie really is that like they don't waste time, um, like setting things up and dragging things out. Like if it's gonna happen, boom, it's there, it's done. We've got it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got it covered. I appreciate that.
I do too. And then I like that. So the movie, like with the opening fight scene, it leaves Rick.
Imprisoned,
He kind of just like
basically.
what?
He's imprisoned, but yeah,
Yeah, it just like kind of leaves him off wandering in the desert, and then we find out like he's in prison.
yeah.
I like that. We don't need to find out what happened to him
Nope.
in these last 3 years.
Nope.
It's one of those things like I'm okay just wondering,
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
it's
what could he have done?
it's definitely a feature of the movie that they really do not waste time with background.
Well,
Like,
especially coming again off of Dracula, where
yeah,
there's so much exposition.
yeah. It's like with this, is like, who's Rick? You don't care. Who gives a fuck? It's Rick, man. It's Rick, and he's here,
Yeah,
and they're here now, and we're gonna go.
listen, that's Rick, that's Jonathan. As long as you know which one's her brother and which one's allowed to kiss her,
You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not making a Star Wars mistake here.
Yep. Um, but I like to the reintroduction to Brendan Fraser. He's just very funny.
Oh,
And
he's
you
got
could
so much
tell,
charm too.
yes, he's a great leading man character. That whole like prison interaction, and then too you get the scene with him being executed. I love that this movie just invests in the campiness of it. It knows what it is. It's not a serious like dramatic movie. It is camp, and it plays into that with the hanging scene of him just like hanging there, like, and they're just like talking like, so I'll give you the blah blah blah, you know, if you free him I'll give you this much money.
Yeah.
Well, like the guy's like, oh man, his neck didn't break. I guess we just gotta watch.
It's so good. They really lean into it.
Well,
But
yeah, one of my notes was Fraser's delivery on some of his lines are like
yes,
just great.
yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
The line delivery in this movie, just all around, is very good.
Yeah, they know the kind, like, again, they know the kind of movie that they're in. They're not in Bram Stoker's Dracula. They are in The Mummy, and they play into it for sure. All right, let's move to the next scene.
At night. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Rick
Nice.
guides Evelyn and her. Shut up. Sorry. I'm very testy this morning. I'm on edge because I know I can mess up at any second. I don't need any distraction.
We should have Count read this.
Count to Dracula.
Yeah, bring out Count Dumbass again. And
I'll go grab. You want me to go grab him? I'll go grab him.
Yeah. Rick guides Evelyn and her party to the city, encountering a band of American treasure hunters led by Rick's cowardly acquaintance Benny. Despite being warned to leave by Ardith Bay, leader of the Magi, the two expeditions continue their excavations. A flesh-eating scarab hatches from a decorative shell embedded in an artifact Warden Hassan is looting and burrows itself inside his body, killing him. Meanwhile, several diggers working with the Americans are killed by triggering a cloud of pressurized salt acid during the excavation. Evelyn searches for the Book of Amun-Ra, made of pure gold. Instead of finding it, she stumbles upon Imhotep's remains. The team of Americans, meanwhile, discover the Black Book of the Dead, accompanied by canopic jars carrying Ankh-Sunamun's preserved organs.
Onk cinema and then onk cinnamon.
Guys, I'm trying my fucking best.
You're
I'm
doing
fighting
so
for
good.
my fucking life.
You're doing so good. Oh man. All right. We should talk about this section of the movie because like when you think of like, oh, they're going for a treasure hunt and he knows the way to get there and then it's like you blink and they're like, oh, they're there. Okay.
They're there.
Yep, they made it. Like I said, this movie wastes no time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But like that whole one sentence of like Rick guides Evelyn and her party to the city is like 20 minutes of time where they're like on a boat and they have this whole attack and with the Magi and the boat catches on fire and there's a bunch of funny interactions between people which are great. And then it's like the next scene they're like, all right, well, we gotta go to the city now. And then they're like, oh, all right, we're there at the city now.
I do like too that he's very much just like a comic relief character.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that he's also just kind of set up as like, no, he's like the extremely lucky character.
Yeah.
Like whenever he's in a situation, like he's gonna be fine, but he's also just gonna like luck his way into, like he sets that one Magi on fire just accidentally.
Yep.
And when the Americans are in the gunfight, he's just standing there like, oh, you fucking Americans.
Yep.
And then as soon as one of them's about to kill him, he gets saved.
Yep. And I think it works too in the campiness of it all. I mean, this is a character that really plays into it. I mean, and then there are moments like on the boat scene when Brendan Fraser is reloading his pistol and you can see the gunshots coming up against the wall and they get closer and closer and then Evelyn just like pulls him to the side a little bit. And it works because they get it. You know, it's not, this movie is not meant to be horror and it's not meant to be like straight up like a serious drama either. It's fun and silly, but also a bit scary at times. Like it works. They nail it.
For this first hour, it's very much like a fun like adventure campy like action trip. Yep. And I do like that Rick is like this. He's a confident character, but he's not perfect. He's not like a crack shot. Like he misses like most of his shots.
Yeah.
Like yeah, he has to get saved a lot. He gets his ass whooped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the beginning, he honestly should have died, but because he just lucked into being right in the city of the dead, the Magi got scared and like ran off.
Yeah, right. And it's I think his greatest trait is, you know, speaking on that a little bit, is that he's not like you said, he's not like the crack shot, but he's like suave and dapper and he's witty. Like he's more of like a people person than he is like a rough and tough action guy. Even though he can do that stuff, he's like, that's not his deal. It's not his bag, man, as Austin Powers would say. But they finally get to the city very quickly again. I don't really I don't know if it was in the original movie, but I don't care much for the fact that they split up into the two groups and stuff like that. Just kind of was like, okay, whatever. Like we know that they're gonna end up working together anyways. Like, why even include this?
I feel like it's a trope of every like treasure hunt movie where it's like there's two factions trying to find the one thing. It's like a race to see who gets it first.
Yep.
And there's always just something that brings them together.
Right.
I do like maybe the line of the movie is when they finally reach land and Benny's chirping him. Rick just shouts out, "Hey Benny, looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river."
Oh yeah.
So good. It's so good.
There's another line that he said that like that. He's like, "Oh, I have the map. We don't have the map," and he's like,
I am the map.
I'm the map. I
I'm
got
the
it right
map.
here." Or something.
Like, come on, I'm on the map.
Started
I'm the
breaking out,
map.
and I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
Let's see. Again, it took no time at all to reach the city. Then they get excavating, head underground. That again takes like no time at all. We get a little bit of development with Rick and Evelyn at this point, too, as we've had a couple of scenes across the movie. But like we get a little bit more of them just interacting by themselves, and I love though that they find Imhotep's grave or like sarcophagus. Literally, Jonathan is just like playing golf with with a pick, and it's just like he takes a swing and it just falls from the ceiling. It's like, oh, there it is.
It's like Domino from like Deadpool 2. Like sometimes it's just better to be lucky.
Yeah, right. It just works.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little weird. I guess it kind of made sense though. It was a little weird though that like these were all people who were like they obviously knew what they were doing. Evelyn knew what she was talking about. She was very educated in Egyptology, but also didn't know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were pretty clueless a lot of the time, and I was like, that seems a bit strange.
But I think it's a good little character quirk of hers. It's like you have someone who's incredibly book smart, but spent all her time like in the library.
Yeah,
Because her father was like a great explorer and like
right.
loved Egypt, but she never was the explorer type.
But it's even like when it comes to Egypt stuff, she's like, yeah, I don't know what this is. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you know about this stuff. You know about this whole like story. You know that this like the key in the
You're
books
explaining it to all of us, and
right, and then you're like, yeah, I don't fucking know. It's like, what do you mean you don't know? I know, and I'm just watching the movie. Like,
we get the scarab scene with Hassan. I could have sworn that scene went on a bit longer.
It was very quick.
But it was quick, but still
Creepy.
as I remember from a kid, very creepy.
Yes, and obviously this is where the movie starts to jump back into the CGI a little bit. And it doesn't look great.
It's fine. It doesn't detract anything.
Yeah, I mean, at this point it's fine. Later on it's not great. But I do like that, like when the Magi attack again, like everyone just turns into a gunslinger. Every single person in this movie is just like, "Yep, we're ready to go. Let's rock and roll." And they're just shooting everywhere. It's like everyone is just like a cowboy.
And I like too that when Rick faces off against Ardith, he just takes like a stick of dynamite. He's like, "All right, you got a sword, but I got dynamite."
Yeah, I got this. And then like so cool, he just pulls the thing out. He's like, "All right, don't need it." He's just holding a bomb, a lit bomb. All right. Anything else for this section?
No.
All right, let's move on.
All right. At night, Evelyn reads from the Book of the Dead aloud, accidentally awakening the mummified Imhotep, who seems to briefly confuse Evelyn with Ankh-Namun. The expeditions flee back to Cairo, and Imhotep follows them with the help of Benny, who has agreed to serve him. He regenerates his full strength and human form by killing members of the American expedition who unearthed him and brings the 10 plagues back to Egypt. Meanwhile, Evelyn learns that Terrence is also working with the Magi. Rick, Evelyn, Jonathan, and Terrence meet Ardith at the museum, who hypothesizes that Imhotep wants to resurrect Anxunamun by sacrificing Evelyn. She believes
Cinnamon.
that...
Cinnamon.
I'm just going to call her Ankh.
Anxunamun.
Anxunamun.
There you go.
I'm trying to say it like as like suave as they did in the movie. I think that's not wrong.
It's just coming off as Cinnamon.
She believes that if the Book of the Dead brought Imhotep back to life, the Book of Amun-Ra can kill him again, and deduces the book's whereabouts in Amenhotep. Imhotep corners the group with an army of slaves. Evelyn agrees to accompany him if he spares the rest of the group. Although Imhotep does not honor his word, Rick and the others fight their way to safety, although Terrence sacrifices himself to ensure their escape.
Yeah, this is cool. It's a bit weird that they're like
cool.
the reading of the book aloud is kind of a weird like circumstance. Like
Evil
I know
Dead,
that they
the Mummy.
Yeah.
Just stop reading books in foreign languages.
I know.
That you find in like crypts and tombs.
Like they must have known that it was not a good book. Like they must have. That one guy was like, he knew. Why wouldn't he just say aloud to everyone,
you mustn't
like,
read from the book?
Yeah, when it's too late, like, hey, idiot, just say that in the beginning, like, hey guys, this is a cool book. Do not read from it. You will awaken evil.
I always wondered too if those rules apply for like you just read in your head.
Hey, that's interesting.
Like I get it's obviously not cinematic, but every time there's like an evil book and people read and like a curse is like awoken, it's always because they read out loud.
Yeah, right. Just read it in your head.
Yeah. Like we get it. You can read Egyptian just in your head.
Yeah.
Like Rick is not going to understand it either way.
Yeah, no. He's like, what is that? What are you talking about?
It's called Space Spade. He's a himbo.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a treasure hunter, but I'm not that smart. I just look for the treasure. I just look, and that's it. What did you guys think of them like going back to Cairo? Because I wasn't about it really. I would have preferred if the movie was just like stayed in Hamunaptra and didn't like move the whole thing back, and then it just slowed things down.
Well, I think it was needed because he got the entire population to follow him pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that wouldn't have worked if they just stayed.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely necessary. And
fair enough. Fair enough. I guess I'm wrong.
Well, no, it's just like that's how the movie went, I guess. Like, and I understood why they went back. It would have been cool to see like what they would have done if they just stayed.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you could probably, if you do that, you just cut this entire chapter out. Like, you don't.
Yeah, that would have been an hour and 20-minute movie.
Exactly, but I don't know what you do to like, because you can't introduce like Terrence back into this. You can't introduce the play because this is like a very isolated city. There are no people there.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair.
I did like. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, it's CG. The visual effects suck." The Mummy looked cool. I loved his design.
He looked decent.
Except,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I liked how he went from undead to be more human, and the way they did that. But when he was just a mummy, I was kind of like, it kind of took away from the movie for me a little bit, honestly.
No.
So,
but I enjoyed,
Yeah, I gotta ask you guys, what is the defining feature of a mummy? If you were to choose one feature that defines what a mummy is, what is that?
Toilet paper.
The gauze.
Right. They're wrapped. Where is it?
Yeah.
Not there. Not in this movie.
It probably decomposed.
Yeah,
Well, that's
but
the thing
like
too. It's like
it's
it's
the
just taking his
mummy.
bones.
It's the mummy. Make him wrapped up. I need a scene of that at least. You're gonna call this movie The Mummy, and there's no fucking mummy
They did it in the opening.
Yeah.
in the opening.
There's your scene. There's your scene of the mummy.
I need the villain to be mummy.
The villain was mummified. Therefore, he is a mummy.
No.
Yes.
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 Counterpoint. Yes.
Yes.
Counterpoint. No.
On the other hand, yes.
No, he needed to be like he was human more than he was mummy. And it's like, no, he's not human. The mummy is not called the human, it's called the mummy.
No, that is fair. I will say, I feel like they could have done more to make him more of like a monster.
Yeah. Like even when they had him out in Cairo and he was like disguising himself, hello, that's the perfect time to wrap him in some bandages or something. No, they put a mask on it. It's like it's not the mask. That's a different movie. This is the Mummy.
The mask was cool though. I will.
It's the Man in the Iron Mask, or the Mask of Zorro.
Nah. Although like a lot of it, because literally, I timed it too. The second it's like an hour and like 1 second, that's when the movie, that's when the mummy comes out. That's when they're done reading the book. That's when the movie flips from like this adventure where it's all like whimsical, campy.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we get more of like the horror elements. That's when the mummy comes out.
Yeah. Yep.
That's when I forgot his name, but that's when like that first dude gets cornered and starts to get killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get a lot of the stuff that happens to like the Americans is off screen. Could have been cool to see a bit more of it on screen, but you know, you take what you can get in 1999.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. That said though, the action is good. Like there's a lot of solid action.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the description is like, yeah, they fight their way to safety after they do this big deal and Evelyn leaves with Imhotep and all this stuff. There's no big fight. They just jump into the sewers, and when Terrence is like, "Don't worry, guys, I'll make sure you get away safely," and then fights like 3 guys and dies. It's like you could have just jumped in the well. You could have just jumped down into the sewers with them. Yeah. They obviously weren't gonna follow.
I think here too is when we find out like cats are his weakness.
Yeah.
Also too, we also see like when Evelyn first sees the mummy and she's like kind of like entranced by him, and Brendan Fraser sees him for the first time, he like hisses at him, which I thought was a hilarious decision.
Yeah, he's like
like it roars at him and he's like and then he just blows it to smithereens.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Phenomenal acting from Fraser here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but like I don't really have much like I said, you know, you get those scenes of like Benny's like working for him and secretly sabotaging or like spying, and it just doesn't. I don't know.
That scene was also pretty funny of him getting cornered by the mummy and just whipping out all these different like
yes.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yes, that was
just like
good.
trying to see like which one will catch.
Yeah, which one works? He's not a true man of God. He's just like, hey, is someone gonna help me?
Yeah, it's like God, no. You,
Buddha,
no,
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 no.
Allah, no. Okay,
no. It's like
damn.
someone, please.
Oh man! All right, let's move to the last section here.
All right. Rick, Jonathan, and Ardeth recruit Captain Winston Havelock, a member of the Royal Air Force, with a death wish to fly them back to Hamunaptra in pursuit of Imhotep. However, Imhotep conjures a sandstorm, crashing their plane and killing Havelock. Rick, Jonathan, and Ardith locate the Book of Amun-Ra in Hamunaptra, while Imhotep prepares to sacrifice Evelyn. Also, bringing, I'm just saying, Ankh, mummified remains back to life as part of the ritual. Rick manages to rescue her after a brutal fight with Imhotep's mummified priests and mummified soldiers. Ankh's mummy is also slain during the fight. Evelyn reads from the Book of Amun-Ra, making Imhotep mortal, and he is fatally wounded by Rick. Imhotep degenerates back into his mummified form and descends into a pool of souls, vowing revenge. Benny accidentally sets off a booby trap while looting the city of its riches and killed by a swarm. This is where, when I slam my head into the keyboard, all the letters came up.
Mm.
We'll take that out. Killed by a swarm of flesh-eating scarabs as Hamunaptra collapses into sand. Ardith bids Rick, Evelyn, and Jonathan goodbye, and the trio ride away on a pair of camels, not realizing it is laden with Benny's stolen treasure. The end.
Hilarious that they recruit this dude, and he's like, "What?" Like, he doesn't want to fly him, and he's like, "It's probably gonna get you killed." And he's like, "Yep, I'm on it. Let's do it."
It's sick.
He's like, "Sweet, man, I'm all for it."
I will say too, like, the big three, like Rick, Jonathan, Evelyn, very strong, like big three. Adding Ardith to it, that's like adding like Kristaps to your starting five.
Yes.
If you're the Celtics. Like, what a hole.
Yeah, he works great.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know. You guys might disagree with me on this on a couple points.
I swear to God.
So which one? Okay, I'll go with this one. I don't feel the chemistry between Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz all that much in this movie.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I don't.
That's a bad take.
I just don't. I don't know what it is about it.
Bad take.
That's a very bad take. They have so much chemistry.
I don't know. Maybe I just needed some more scenes like with them together, like shift some things around. But I just didn't feel it as much.
The boat scene, them like getting drunk and her talking about like being a librarian and talking about her father. Like, just there's a lot of scenes of them like just talking together. And I feel like too, a little quirky thing I caught is that he only refers to her as like Evelyn, where Jonathan will call her like Evie.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool that,
or yeah, not they cool, have their like, own. They have their own like quirks about that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is my sister. I'm gonna refer to her as such, and
yeah,
you're still just a stranger, so
right. But my second point that I don't know, again, I don't know how you're gonna react to it or not, but Imhotep is not that threatening as a villain. He's like, he just feels overall more goofy than anything.
The man brings upon the 10 plagues, and you say he's not
barely. Like, the whole sandstorm thing was like, he was just making like silly faces in the sand. It's just like everything he does felt a little bit too campy, that I was like, okay, this is just like a little goofy. Like, I don't know. That was just me. It was just me.
Again, I think it's a bad take. Okay. He has a mummified army.
I'm not saying that like the army isn't like, yeah, it's cool. He gets his army out there, but like he himself is not that like he's not that threatening as a villain. He's just goofy.
Did you not see? Oh, I guess everything was off screen, but he was like turning dudes to dust.
Yeah, maybe I needed to actually see that to feel like, because like everything we do see with him on screen is just him like doing stupid shit.
I guess that's fair. I mean, again, he is killing them, Just
Yeah,
because we
right.
can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right, but like it's the difference of like, yeah, that stuff's happening off screen, and then all of the goofy stuff that like appeals to a wider audience is like that's what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, I don't know. But I will say I like the rescue when they actually get to Evelyn and rescue her, and the ensuing fight is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Is some really good action there. I like too that Rick kind of gets his ass beat at
Oh
multiple
yeah.
stages. Like it just shows that he's not like a perfect character.
He's not the big action hero who can't lose. Like he's
Mhm.
not. We're gonna bring his name up. He's not like The Rock who can't take a punch and
Yeah.
like has to win every single fight. Like no, he can get his ass beat. He can get saved by other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the fight, yes, he's gonna come out victorious, but he can get embarrassed.
Yeah. No, I mean, it works. It just plays into who that character is and makes it a bit more unique, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Um, but
There's
again,
one
I got.
scene.
Go ahead.
Uh, I was gonna say there's one scene that was in the when they after they rescued and they were in the gold room
Yes.
and Jonathan took the two guns out of uh Rick's like
Holsters.
holsters,
Yeah.
just shooting him. And then when it ran out of ammo, he just threw
Throws one is so good.
It's so funny.
That's such
It
a
reminds
good
me of that
moment.
scene in John Wick 3 when he just runs out of ammo. He just fucking
Yes.
chucks it at him.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they are resourceful. They use quite a bit of different methods to kill the the dead people already, the mummified soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, it's like too when Rick's fighting and he's got like one dude behind him and another dude before like in front of him, and he's like as he's swinging back, he like accident like just rips into this guy's head, and as he's swinging forward, he like hits him with the other guy's head.
You're like destroying your setup right now.
Yeah, it's not the best for physical comedy, I guess.
Well, it's a good thing this is an audio podcast.
Mm-hmm.
No, it works. One thing that doesn't work though, man, that CGI
That's fine.
again. It looks rough. The funniest part though,
1999.
yes, and it looks like ass. I would have loved, again, I would have loved if instead of CGI mummified soldiers, they just actually got like extras and like makeup to play mummified soldiers. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like you can do that stuff and just have it be practical. The funniest part though of the whole movie is the CGI water that Imhotep falls into when he's dying. It's like it's just CGI water. It's just water. It doesn't do anything special other than being like the souls water or whatever it is, the pool of souls. But like it's just water. It is like, yeah, we gotta CGI that. We can't have them getting an actual water. That's just not gonna happen. We gotta CGI that water. But I love it.
It looks better than most of the CGI nowadays too.
I'd say it's on par with a lot of
Like, would you rather watch that or MODOK in Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Oh man, oh man.
That's
You
tough,
you pulled the one example. The one example. Hey, at least we're not talking about the Mummy Returns, and you get that horrendous Dwayne Johnson as the Scorpion King. Have you ever seen that CGI?
No.
I've seen it on like the Watch Mojo worst CGI list.
It is awful. It is disgusting. We'll have to look it up after the podcast. All right, are we ready to give our scores?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. let's do our scores. Starting off with acting. Connor, why don't you kick us off on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say right off the bat, I enjoyed everyone in this cast. So scores of 4. I liked, unlike you, the chemistry between Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Um, but honestly, even just like the entire big three and Ardeth, I like the way that they all can like mesh together. I like that Jonathan doesn't just feel like the brother uh in a like the third wheel. Like he and Rick do kind of bond a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, you're just the guy who's gonna like make out with my sister, aren't you? Like he gets to do stuff too. Even I like the small characters. Um, I like that Benny's just kind of there to be a pest. Um, it's fun. I liked all the casting, and everyone has really good chemistry with each other. So I'll give it a
Yes,
4.
they do. Yeah, I actually also gave it a 4. I mean, look, I know I have my issues with the chemistry. That's my own personal thing. But I still think everyone in the cast does really well. Like, they're really good in their roles. Um, and I can't fault the movie for that at all. They're entertaining and enjoyable. Everyone is believable. It works. So I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4. Let's just round it out.
Yeah.
I think the chemistry was great. I think the main thing that comes to mind with this is the line delivery. That's one thing I really noticed in the movie. It was like the line delivery for all the comedy, or it doesn't have to be comedy either. But yeah, and I think Fraser was great. So I think he was definitely the standout.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then that's gonna move us to the story slash concept, which I will kick off. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I like the story overall. I think it's very interesting. I thought that maybe there were some areas where the pacing could have been improved, or like maybe we don't do this. Maybe we shift focus in other ways. Obviously the scenes back in Cairo for me were kind of like, we can shift that around somehow. I would have liked more treasure hunting, I guess, for this kind of movie, which maybe, obviously isn't the vibe for it, but they play it up a lot in the first half of the movie, but like there's no real like discovery or like hunting for less. Like they just come upon the city and then they come upon the treasure, and then that's it, and then you get the second half. So I would have liked to see that, but overall still 3.5 out of 5. Sam, why don't you kick us off? Or
Yeah,
go next.
yeah, that's fine. I really like the concept of this movie. There is a couple things that I wish they did do a little bit more of, so I wish they spent a little bit more time not like at the what was that place called?
Kamanoptra?
Yeah, that place. Yeah, I wish they spent a little bit more time there. But overall, I think the concept of everything was great, so I get a 4 out of 5.
All right.
I'm also there with a 4 and a 5. I feel like I'm at the inverse of you, Aaron. I feel like I would have preferred a bit more of the horror elements. Um, I feel like you could have tied that a bit better into like the treasure hunting side.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like done a bit more with like claustrophobia too. It doesn't all have to just be mummy related. Um, but it's a fun time. I do like that you get both. It's not just a straight horror. It's not just a straight adventure. It's both.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, there's some things that could have been a bit better. It wasn't even something I thought of, but until you mentioned it, but I kind of wish that the mummy did show up a bit more as a mummy, instead of just as like a guy.
Yeah, right.
But I've always enjoyed this movie, and like I still do. So 4 out of 5 for the story.
All right. And then that moves us to the visuals. Sam, what did you think of the visuals?
Um, for me, this was the weakest of all the categories that we the rate. I give it a 3 out of 5. Yes, I don't. I think it could be improved, especially with the mummy, um, when we see it first. But I did really like how it transformed him into like a normal human, and he had like the couple scars on the side of the face, and slowly transforming him. And then not with just the CGI, but I love the scenery and the expanded shots of the scenery of the ancient Egypt and stuff like that. So 3.
Yeah. Connor, what about you?
This is also my lowest of the bunch, but it's a 3.5 for me. I didn't feel like the CGI was that big of a detractor. Understanding like the limitations of the time. I felt, and I know it's you always bring up like practical effects, but something that I feel like doesn't get brought up a lot is like lighting and how a lot of movies nowadays just they don't look properly lit. That's something that I feel like this movie is just so aesthetic to look at because like you get like a very like red sun with the sand kind of bouncing off like people's face. It just looks again like obviously they're filming on location um or like in a desert.
Mm-hmm.
Um so it just looks very well made. And yes, CGI mummy, it still looks very good. The
Yeah.
CGI sandstorm was a great touch in my mind. So 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just touched on something that's really interesting about lighting and how it has kind of become a lost art nowadays, um,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, and a lot of that has to do with because of big budget movies, over reliance on CGI. Now they
Everything's
have
filmed in the
to.
studio.
Well, not only that, they have to film things very flat because it's the easiest way to match CGI. Because lighting for computer generated graphics is very hard, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a very manual process. So if you just light a scene flat face, like no like special lighting, no special shadows or anything, just it makes any CGI that you do easy to blend in, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a lost art because like a movie like this, yeah, the CGI may not be great, but they still invest in like let's make this shot look pretty. Let's use good lighting. Let's use good shadows. Let's see what we can do. I mean, just the scene when they lit up the cave with the mirrors and like they
Mm-hmm.
do all that like complicated stuff, and then you just see the whole place light up with what you know is like legitimate lighting that they've thrown into the scene. It looks great.
Mhm.
All the
Um,
shots just like lit up with a torch too.
right. It's a bit of a lost art.
Mm-hmm.
Visually for me, I was lower at a 2.5. I thought there were it's like counterbalance, right? There was a lot of really good practical stuff done in this movie. The boat fire was awesome. That was fully practical. That first like big fight, was practical, and that looked really cool. But the CGI at the end of the day does not hold up to today's standards. And I know it's tough to weigh a movie on that, but it looks bad. And there were areas for me that they could have done the CGI practically and made it look better. In some areas. Some areas you're going to have to, and I can live with that. Obviously the mummy, especially when he's a monster, it's better off being CGI. I can live with that. But some of the things could have been practical and they chose to do CGI and it doesn't look great now, and so that's their choice. So I gave it a 2.5. Next section is the writing, and I will kick off for that one. Yeah, I mean, actually no, Connor, you're kicking it off for this one.
Yeah. I was
Yes,
gonna say,
you're
one
next. You're
second.
next. Sorry.
Um, I'm gonna give this one. I actually just changed it too because I just thought of something. So visuals is not my lowest. I would say the writing is tied with it. It's at a 3.5, so it's not like crazy low.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everyone like is very well written. The only thing that I think is holding it back for me, very quippy.
Mm.
And I feel like that's kind of a lot of what Jonathan as a character is there to do. Um, and I feel like he does have redeeming things later on. Like he's the one with the book at the end. Like he does do stuff besides just make jokes and kind of be a third wheel, but he could have been written more as like a third lead instead of the third wheel. Um, but I do like how each character is written. I like all the line delivery. The story pacing I thought was pretty good, even though like yeah, it's a 2-hour movie, but at no point did I feel like, oh my god, can this scene just end? Like let's get on with the next bit. Um Again, I feel like they could have blended a bit more horror into the adventure side, and maybe they could have done a bit more adventure in the horror side. So I feel like a bit of wasted opportunity there. So 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm a bit lower, 3 out of 5 for me. I think a lot of the points you just said make a lot of sense. It is very quippy, and it feels like at times it needs to pick a lane, whether it's going to be like more horror focused or more adventure focused, and it tries to straddle the line maybe a little bit too much. Um, but at the end of the day, too, the characters are good. The writing is solid. Like it's not you're not gonna like listen to dialogue and be like, what is this? It's not disgusting, and that's that works in its favor. It just needed to, I think, pick a lane a bit more. If you're gonna really dive into the camp, then really commit and don't abandon it 3/4 of the way through the movie. Or if you're gonna be horror, then let's make it horror. Just pick that lane. So 3 out of 5 for me. Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I had a 3.5 out of 5 right there with Connor. I haven't really thought about until you guys started talking about either the horror lane or the adventure lane. And I kind of agree with both of you. Like, yeah, I wish there was a little bit more horror. Not necessarily like jump scares, but like more of like a creepy aspect
Yeah,
of that.
it needs that vibe.
Yeah. Uh, but again, like I love a good adventure movie, so it would have been really good to see more adventure kind of thing. Um, but yeah, 3.5 out of 5. There's nothing too much that I want that's different that I would change. Yeah, maybe I think they could have spent a little bit more time in the desert but a little bit less time in Cairo. But I understand that like that was needed to progress the story. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, and that's going to bring us to our final score for the film. This is our overall enjoyment score, and it is the most important one because it is our overall score for this movie. Sam, why don't you kick us off with your overall score for
My overalls score?
Your overall score.
So I think this is my second time watching this movie. I looked on Letterboxd, and previous me gave this movie a 2.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Wow.
And I'm like, what was I thinking?
Damn.
And after rewatching it, yeah, it was like when you watched when you rated Silence of the Lambs, Aaron.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was on. 3.5, I think I gave it. Is like, what do you want, crack? It's a 5.
It did not engage me enough.
The CGI was bad.
It insists upon itself.
It insists upon itself.
CGI was bad.
2 out of 5.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this is my second watch through, and I really enjoy. I appreciate this movie more, I guess now, obviously. I'll give this movie a 3.85.
Hell yeah!
I just want to know, when you come up with that, like, are you like Aaron, where you have like your calculation, or is this
No.
like a vibe?
So this is vibe. So I don't want to do.
I respect that. I do respect that.
Really?
I don't want to do rounded it because we have a couple of these movies like Moana and Halloween. Like they're both an average of 4. Like I like to have a little bit like variety. And also other thing is, so like where was it? Bram Stoker's Dracula, I gave a 3.9. Chef, I gave a 3.7. This movie, I can tell like I like it better than Chef, but not as better as Dracula, kind of thing.
Boom!
So that's
it fits in between. Yes,
but I don't do what Aaron does and don't average out my scores because that's not how you're supposed to. There's only four scores that we really average out, and movies are bigger than just four scores.
These four
All right.
things.
Can I explain my process here then? Because
No.
it's not like a hard and fast rule that like based on these four scores, this is what it is. I do average it, but at the end of the day, I look at it too. It's like, okay, does that average fit my overall thoughts for this movie? Because if it doesn't, I'll bump it up. If it does, I'll keep it, or I'll bump it down if it needs to be. I did that with Sharknado. You know, Sharknado is a piece of shit movie. It's awfully made. It looks terrible. It's horribly acted. I think I gave it a 3. I think my average was like a 1 on that movie. But like it has to fit the vibe. But more often than not, I find that my average for these scores encapsulate, okay, yes, I think this movie sits here and it works. So that's my process. I'm just gonna go with my score.
Yeah,
because
go.
I'm already
I guess
going.
we're all just gonna explain our processes
Yes.
now.
So for me, I averaged all my scores. It come out to a 3.25, which again I think fits. That is the same score that I gave 40-Year-Old Virgin and Wet Hot American Summer. I feel like this movie sits right in that spot. It's not as good as Moana. I gave Moana a 3.5. I gave Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle a 3.5. You know, it just, I think that fits the vibe. So 3.25.
All right. So unlike you guys, I don't really like rating movies very like objectively. I like doing it on a more subjective scale. So that's why like every time like we brought it up a bunch of times. That's why like a 4-star means this to me. Like it means that this is a very good movie. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
It's not 5 stars like that's contention for like my favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be on my top 25 list. 3-star, that's like it's like a good movie. You know, put it on, enjoy it. 2-star, that's like, yeah. 2 stars, like, you know, like I didn't hate watching it, but I would not recommend it. I would not put it on again. And 1-star, like I did not enjoy this. Halves kind of like help differentiate. And I view movies like in buckets. So like all my 4 stars, like I would put in a bucket. Because movies could change too based off the attitude I have going into them. Because I actually changed my Dracula rating because I had it at a 4, I dropped it to a 3.5 because I've seen some more movies now and I feel like I would rather watch them than Dracula.
Fair.
With this movie though, like this is a fun adventure horror movie with these classic monster movies as they're getting like readapted into more modern movies. You kind of have to like change the story to fit with that. So you have like they tried to do it in 2017 or whatever with Tom Cruise. Did not work. The problem was they tried to make it a superhero movie. And they tried to make like all these heroes into like anti-heroes. Or they tried to make these monsters into anti-heroes. Was not going to work. With a movie like this, they understood like the vibe is like we can make this like a treasure hunting movie. Oh shit, they accidentally awoken the mummy. That's cool. Which makes for like a very fun time when you're watching, and that's why like it's a tone shift, yes, and I think they could have balanced it a bit better, but it's a good tone shift for me. So I put this in my 4-star bucket, which is where my enjoyment score lies.
All right. So that's going to bring us to an average score of a 3.70. When you throw that into our list, it comes in at number 13, just below Halloween 2018 and just above Grown Ups. So I think it fits the vibe pretty well. Still, Madam Web sits at the bottom of all the movies that we have ever reviewed with a 0.83 average score.
You guys gave that 1 star. You guys were too high on it.
I was, apparently. But anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. If you like what you listen to, leave a rating, subscribe, follow us on your favorite podcast platform. I know it's a little bit longer of an episode, but it's a lot of fun. We love talking about movies. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Go to our website, firstpicturehouse.com, for articles and reviews and all that kind of fun stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at FilmboxPod, and follow me on TikTok and Twitter as well for other content related to the movie industry. And also, we're streaming on Twitch, maybe a little bit more normally, starting now, hopefully. But definitely this month we're going to be doing some horror game streams to fit the spooky vibe. So next one's coming this week. Just follow us on Twitter. Be on the lookout for the announcements for that. But you can see the stream at on Twitch. Filmbox Aaron is the channel. And then yeah, follow us on Letterboxd. You can stay up to date on what we're watching when we're watching them. You don't have to wait for each episode to come out to hear about the 16 movies that Connor watched in a week, because that's how many it was this week. Usually I say it as a hyperbole, and it actually was 16 movies.
It was like 10 days.
Yeah, well. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Filmbox Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Later, skaters. I gotta piss.
Yeah.